Entrepreneurs starting businesses, you have a big idea, you have a big dream. Don't give up. You'll lose 100 times more than you win. And then, I'm on a marketing podcast. So I'll say this one too that I tell everybody is, if you build it, they will come is a lie, right? You have to build it and scream from the rooftops and, do it yourself, do it, engage a marketing agency, have your friends do it.
Yeah.
But, you can't talk about your product enough. It's not possible. So marketing. Any way you have to do it. Yeah. So certainly AI, right? Like it's shaping the future of everything. And I think it's impacting veterinary practices in three ways. One, on the diagnostics side, right? So AI radiology and imaging is becoming a real big thing. I think AI patient data from wearables and continuous monitoring, I think is just like starting to get onto people's radar and is.
Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Varnit and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast, where we dive deep into the stories, strategies, and insight of founders and leaders shaping the pet industry. I'm your host Varnit, and today we have an incredible guest with us, Adam Wysocki, the founder of VetSoftwareHub. Adam is a seasoned entrepreneur with decades of experience building software across multiple industries, including veterinary tech. He's founded and led companies like Pawbly and VitusVet, pioneering innovation that improve veterinary workflows, patient care, and practice efficiency. So in this episode, we will explore Adam's journey as a founder, the challenges he faced building VetSoftwareHub, his unique approach to product development and marketing, and actionable insight for pet industry entrepreneurs looking to grow and scale their business. So without further ado, Adam, thank you so much for being a part of Pet Brand Podcast.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Definitely. And to start, Adam, like we would like to explore like what spark an entrepreneurial journey, right? So what inspired you to start now VetSoftwareHub, and what personal or professional experience led you to this specific idea?
Yeah, for sure. I was working at VitusVet previously, and the company had an exit, and I was left looking for something to do. And I took a little bit of time off, and I was going to build something. I love the tech space, or the vet space, and the tech space. And I thought, man, if I build something, I'd really like to leverage AI and bootstrap it and kind of just own it 100% myself.
Wow.
But if I do that, how do I go to market, right? Like that's a challenge, reaching veterinary practices across North America. So I went out and I started talking to veterinary practices about how they discover software, how they evaluate software, trying to figure out like what's the best strategy to reach them. And it became quickly apparent to me that there is a software discovery problem in veterinary software. That practices, maybe they Google, maybe they get a cold call, maybe they go to a conference and see something, but there's no real good resource for finding software. And then I also learned that, talking to them, there's a real power imbalance when evaluating and purchasing software. A lot of veterinary practice managers or veterinary owners, they never receive any kind of training on how to evaluate software or how to understand how, the software acquisition process works. And they get on demos with sales reps that have, coaching on objection handling, and they have decks that are professionally created, and they're just outmatched. So I really thought there was an opportunity to be helpful there to veterinary practices.
Yeah.
And finally, I thought a lot about the future and AI and what AI is going to mean for how we discover products, 2, 3, 5 years from now, even 12 months from now. And I think, Googling is not going to be the way, right? We already know that SEO is kind of on the way down, AI discovery is on the way up.
Exactly.
Um, and looking at a lot of B2B SaaS websites, they're not really doing a good job with SEO, let alone AI discovery. So I thought, here's three unique areas that I could probably help in with my experience. I've been developing software for 35 years. I've brought many products to market. I've worked at startups. I've worked at big companies. And it just seemed to all come together to have this idea of a marketplace for
Yeah.
veterinary software
Yeah.
that helps practices discover and evaluate, and then helps B2B companies connect with those customers.
Yeah, love it, love it. And since you have built like software across various industry for decades, right? You must have seen many gaps, right? So what convinced you that the veterinary space specifically needed a dedicated software marketplace?
So doing marketing in the veterinary industry, certainly, when I look at, the big one, I think marketplace wise that everybody looks at is Capterra and, G2 and maybe Software Advice, Trustpilot.
Yeah,
Uh, they lump all veterinary software together under one category, right? So when you do a comparison and you're looking at practice management software, they'll compare practice management software to client communication platforms.
yeah, yeah,
And it just doesn't line up. And so they're not really subject matter experts in the veterinary space. I thought, well, I could definitely do that better, right? And we can categorize correctly and compare, similar products a lot better than those categories. And also, those marketplaces that exist or those directories that exist already, they're just flooded with other stuff
yeah.
that veterinary practices don't even care about. So, a mentor a long time ago said, if you got a great idea, niche down, and then if possible, niche down again. And I think
Wow.
kind of that's what I did here.
Uh-huh.
And hopefully it pays off.
Uh-huh, definitely. And like since you have experience which spans multiple ventures, right? You have founded and led several companies like Pawbly, VitusVet, we were talking about it. So how did that past experience shape your approach to building Vet Software Hub now?
Yeah, I think frustration from multiple failures in marketing at those companies, right? Trying to sell software services to veterinary practices,
Yeah.
especially as a startup, right?
Mm.
Spending a big budget on digital ads might be $5,000 a month if you're a startup, but that's nothing on Google, right? Like you'll
Yeah.
get a few leads from that, but there's
Mm.
companies spending thirty,
Yeah,
forty
you're
thousand
competing
dollars
with
a month
them.
easy,
Yeah.
right?
Mm.
But small startups just trying to get into the space don't have that budget. And then, going to trade shows and spending $10,000, $20,000 on a booth, and like you walk away with like 7 leads, right? And your sales team's out of pocket for 3 days and you come back exhausted.
Crazy.
Um, there's got to be a better way for
Mm.
companies to reach veterinary practices.
Mm.
And I think the idea of creating that, top and even middle of funnel, or have that already available to software companies,
Wow.
I think it gets rid of a lot of the a lot of wasted time, and really connects those companies, like when I was at VitusVet, with buyers who actually have serious intent, and they're not, just scrolling through an Instagram feed for personal enjoyment, or they're not at a trade show just to like hang out with friends and learn, get some continuing education, and not, they're not thinking about buying software. So, just trying to cut out the fluff and make that direct connection. And I would have loved to have a site like this when I was at VitusVet.
Yeah, yeah. And what were the biggest challenges you faced in the early stages of the Vet Software Hub? Like, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, so definitely still in the early stages.
Yeah.
We just launched
I just
six
thought
weeks
that,
ago.
okay, you're still guys at early stages. That's true.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that the biggest challenge is just getting the word out, right? Like I'm trying to bootstrap this thing. I'm you know I can go for a little while, but I'm trying to be very conservative with money. So I haven't done
Absolutely. Yeah.
any investment in digital marketing yet, and
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of social media posting now. I think I'm up to
Exactly.
100 pieces of content a
Wow.
week across 5 social platforms. I'm about to
Wow.
get into
And which one is
long and
performing the
short.
best till now?
LinkedIn is really performing the best right now. But I came in with a lot of connections on LinkedIn already. So my personal LinkedIn account
Okay. Okay.
has a pretty good following that I've been in the industry for a lot of years, and that is definitely my biggest source of traffic.
Mm.
But I think I was really smart, kind of tailoring the site for AI discovery. And a lot of my traffic is also coming from ChatGPT and
Wow.
Claude
Wow.
and Gemini, which
Mm.
is very interesting. I didn't expect to see that so quickly.
Mm.
Um, but yeah, the challenges with, especially any website, especially a directory, is eyeballs, right? And how do I grow? And then how do I retain those people? So just, a lot of valuable content. The
Mm.
site's completely free right now, so that helps a lot. It will remain free forever for veterinarians. So I wanted to be a good learning resource.
Yeah.
And then figuring out ways to network, going on great podcasts like this one
Yeah.
to help get the word out.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. And you have mentioned that, software buying process can be confusing and exhausting, right? So in
Yeah.
your view, what makes it so broken? Like how does Vet Software Hub is fixing that problem for clinics?
Yeah. So I think that veterinary hospitals are really great at building systems for patient care. That's what they do, right? That's where they excel.
Mm.
But I I've met very few, probably none, that
Mm.
have built systems for evaluating software. The process is generally, like I said, a cold call, or they meet somebody at a conference, or they see, an ad. They sign up for a 30-minute demo, sometimes an hour demo.
Yeah.
They listen while the account executive walks them through a slide deck and maybe shows them a workflow. And typically, the account exec will say, "You have any questions?" And they'll go, "Nope. We'll call you when we have a decision." And then how do they decide?
Yeah.
Right. And some, I've talked to some practices, they'll sit on 5, 6, 7 demos at a half hour a pop, taking away time from patient care. Um, so I think it was important to me, and I'm a systems guy, right? Like I love building repeatable systems.
Wow.
So that's what I'm trying to do with that software hub is provide veterinary practices with systems so that they can use the site to narrow down their shortlist to 2 or 3 products,
Wow.
and then engage with those companies in a very systematic way. This is the information that my practice needs when I sit on the. I don't want the canned demo that every practice gets, because my practice is different, right?
Yeah.
We have our own systems, we have our own processes.
Yeah.
So how do our systems fit with your software? So teaching them to go to those, send the questions beforehand in an email. Like, these are the things that I want to see on this demo. A lot of practices don't even think to do that. And then, like, if they have questions about security, if they have questions
Mm.
about, data integrity,
Yeah.
like, make sure you ask those and you see during that demo how those are being answered.
Love it. Love it. And neutrality seems like a center to your platform philosophy, right? So why
Yeah.
is offering a vendor neutral solution so important? Like how do you ensure it stays at the core of your business model?
Yeah. So I think it comes down to trust, right?
Okay.
If I want to build a trusted resource to draw in veterinary professionals and give them the tools that they need
Hmm.
to be able to evaluate software, I can't show any kind of bias, right?
Exactly.
That is, as soon as you start pushing a product or a company, they're going to go, am I going to get something jammed down my throat? And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
rightfully so. There's on the internet, there's all kinds of scams and maybe people trying to sell you something. And I, number one, wanted to create a safe place for veterinary professionals to come and learn and build some systems around something that, they
Hmm.
probably never thought of having systems for before.
Hmm.
And then from there, if I can earn their trust and grow that audience, I think that I can help them discover vendors and then maybe down the road figure out a way to monetize the site with sponsored posts or
Okay.
something like that, clearly labeled. Hey,
Okay.
this vendor
They're
is helping
sponsored.
support the
Yeah.
site.
Mm.
But remaining neutral is a foundation to, I believe, the success of the site going
Mm.
forward.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And also for the audience, like walk us through the core features of Vet Software Hub.
Yeah, for sure. So we have about 135 products listed across, I think, 17
Wow.
categories right now. We just started adding services.
Wow.
So you today you have the ability to go on and browse through categories if you're looking for an AI scribe or you're looking
Wow.
for a new payment solution for your
Mm.
practice,
Mm.
and see what's available to you. When you view the vendors, you can see their website, pricing information if they share that publicly. And I'm encouraging all software vendors to be transparent with their pricing. I like to say if they're not showing you pricing on their website, it's because somebody's probably going to get a better deal than
Mm.
you,
Mm.
and that's not fair. So, and then I think the other thing that's important is company contact information. I can't tell you how many practices that I talk to that don't even know the phone number for their client communications software provider. They
Okay.
have an email for them,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
but in an emergency, if they had to get somebody on the phone,
Yeah.
they have no idea how to do it.
Mm.
Right. So again, I think that's transparency. I try to curate office addresses, phone numbers,
Wow.
email. I think that's all important. I'll tell you a story. A long time ago, I was at a company where I was working with Stripe
Okay.
for
Wow.
payment processing. You can't get anybody from Stripe on the phone. And it is the most frustrating thing in the world
Yeah.
to be dependent on a company like Stripe for payments and
Uh-huh.
revenue and not be able to, and only get answers via email.
Yeah. Or through like
So
chat.
yeah, right. Like, so, I know a lot of people, don't like using the phone. They'd rather chat and email. And I think that's great.
Mm.
But in an emergency,
Yeah.
being able to talk to a
Real
person
person.
that
Yeah.
can help you resolve that
Mm.
as a last step, right? I think is critically important. And I think that, especially in the veterinary space, which is so phone oriented,
Mm.
most pet owners are calling the practice to book appointments. And as much as we'd love them to use digital tools to do that, it's still very phone based. I think, software companies in the vet industry have to have some kind of phone number, even if it's a voicemail box that they're monitoring and they can call back
Exactly.
to have an actual conversation.
Wow. Wow. And one standout feature is call for me concierge service that you have. Like what inspired
Yeah.
the idea, like how it has improved the user experience.
Yeah, so this came. I was talking to a practice out in Long Island. I'm in New Jersey
Okay.
and talk to a bunch of local practices every week.
Okay.
And they have two co-practice managers that run this practice, and they were telling me
Hmm.
that they play a game, who can avoid the most sales calls every
Okay.
week.
Okay.
That they get so many vendors, BDRs, SDRs calling, emailing, trying to sell them all kinds of software and all kinds of solutions. And it's they make a game out of avoiding them. So I think that a lot of practices, when they're evaluating software, they hesitate to reach out and ask questions to
Yeah.
companies
Yeah.
because they're afraid they don't want to be dropped on an email sequence. They don't want to be called relentlessly. Do you want to sign up for a demo? Those BDRs get compensated based on getting demos booked, so they're sometimes very aggressive. So the idea with call for me is, to trigger engagement when there might be hesitation, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Hey, I'm a veterinary practice manager or an owner. This product looks good to me. I don't think I'm ready yet to buy, but I do have a question. Instead of not asking, you can go to VetSoftwareHub. You can use
Okay.
call for me, fill out the form. We'll ask the company anonymously on your behalf,
Wow.
and then we'll send you the answer, and then we won't put you on an email. We'll never email you again unless you have a
Wow.
follow-up question or you want to ask another company a question.
Wow.
Um, and when we send the answer,
Mm.
we say like, hey, if this sounds good to you, we would encourage you to reach out to the company to engage more. It was very pleasant to speak with them, unless it wasn't, but that hasn't been the case yet. And we encourage the client to make that next step.
Mm.
But even just starting that engagement with an anonymous question, I think benefits the company, because it gets the customer thinking about them and keeping
Yeah,
them
yeah,
in
it
mind
keeps
as
the
being helpful.
conversation going. Yeah.
That's right. As
Mm.
opposed to them not asking anything at
Not
all and then
asking. Yeah.
forgetting about them, right?
Yeah, yeah, love it, love it. And can you share an example to like how a clinic used a vet software hub to make a better software decision? And what was the outcome?
Yeah, so this I had one just the other week. It wasn't a call concierge or call for me service,
Okay.
but they reached out to us through the contact form last Tuesday,
Mm.
and they were looking for new cloud PIMs,
Yeah.
and they had a legacy system on prem, and they had narrowed it down to two, and they it thanked me for some of the articles that helped them shortlist,
Mm.
but they couldn't decide between the two. And they said, they seem very compatible. How can we make the final decision? And that's when I helped them kind of take a step back and look at, well, who are you using for phones? Who are you using for payments? Is there savings to be had by consolidating with one of these PIMs on those other two things? And then I said the other thing to ask is, send your sales reps at both of those companies a couple example workflows. You can just record it on your phone, like, hey, our
Yeah.
CSRs answer the phone, they book an appointment into the
Hmm.
PIMS, whatever the workflows are that are most meaningful to you, and ask to get on a demo again and see the product doing those workflows. Bring your CSRs on the call because you want them to enjoy using the product and be comfortable in it. So that's exactly what they did. And they ended up picking one that best matched their current workflow
Yeah.
and also saved them about $1,200 a month
Wow.
by switching to their payment processor. So it was a big win. And it was something that they were just doing the straight feature comparison 1v1.
Yeah.
And I said,
Yeah.
sometimes you got to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, and maybe that will help you
Definitely.
decide.
Yeah. Yeah. Love it. And providing a free service for veterinary teams is definitely it's impressive, right? Since Vet Software Hub is free for users, so like
Yeah,
what's the business model behind the platform? Like how do you generate revenue?
that is a great question.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah.
so there's no business model right now.
Okay.
I had an idea, kind of wanted to see if there was interest. There is. I think eventually where we're going to end up when there's enough traffic is some type of clearly labeled
Okay. Yeah.
sponsored
We were talking
listings,
about it. Yeah. Mm.
category sponsor, or something along, front page featured product. But
Okay.
I think I'm going to be, I have the ability because I'm just a one person company to be a little selective. And like, I'm not going to offer sponsorships to people who have like a 1-star rating like that. I
Yeah.
wouldn't feel
Definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
comfortable. So there'd have to be some
You will
criteria
filter out
for
the sponsorship.
the balance, right? I want to give good companies the
Exactly.
opportunity to
Mm.
to shine.
Mm.
So there'll certainly be guardrails if we ever get to that point. And
Mm.
I think the other thing, I like the LinkedIn model. I don't know if you're familiar with LinkedIn pages,
Mm.
but if you subscribe to a monthly fee on a LinkedIn page, you get to see. Um, I don't like the idea of showing visitor information, but definitely some kind of stats. Like you had so many views, maybe from these parts of the world or the
Yeah. Yeah.
country. So
Mm.
like some like Google Analytics on your page,
Mm.
and then more important, and I think what marketers would like to understand is their competitors' stats. So if you have some kind of you're a product company and you have a subscription, you'll be able to see your traffic to your page and your traffic to your competitor's page, or
Definitely. Yeah.
3 competitors that you identify to
Mm.
see how you're doing and where you can possibly make improvements.
Mhm. And looking
So
at
that's kind of the ideas right now, but we'll see. It's an evolving process.
definitely. And are you like currently are you looking for someone to join the team, or you're thinking like, okay, I just want to focus on like one man now?
No, it's me and my wife
Okay.
helps me with curating data that we find. So I
Wow.
have the company. It's mostly run by AI. So I have agents that are constantly
Wow.
crawling the web, looking for information. It
Wow.
all feeds into a dashboard where we manually just review and say yes or make edits.
Wow.
And then a lot of the questions that come in they go through HubSpot and then are auto replied by bots at first. And we reach
Wow.
out automatically to the companies for like the call for me. It's a template that goes out. Um,
Uh-huh.
so yeah, it's pretty good right now. We'll see what happens.
Love it. Love it. And like looking ahead, every founder has a vision for the future, right? So how do you
Yeah.
see Vet Software Hub evolving over the next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, so that's a great question, and it's one of the reasons that kind of drove me to start the site was the future, and what is AI going to look
Capable
like
of, yeah.
a year, 3 years, or 5 years down the road, and I don't think people will be using Google to find products and services in
Exactly.
the
Yeah.
not too distant future.
Hmm.
And I think, I don't think websites will be as important in the future as they are today. I think, conversational AI for product discovery and evaluation
Hmm.
will be important. So I think in the future, I envision Vet Software Hub as kind of a digital uh, account executive for these companies that help engage conversationally with vet practices that are looking for software by answering questions maybe inside of ChatGPT
Wow.
or inside of Gemini. And then I think that on the other side of AI, with AI coding tools, veterinarians and veterinary owners are incredible entrepreneurs. So I think that you're going to see a lot of custom software solutions being created by AI coding tools inside
Wow.
of veterinary practices.
Hmm.
And they're going to need a way to share those tools with other practices.
Hmm.
So I think veterinarians being able to kind of have a marketplace for in-house solutions and maybe small things for auto formatting notes or
Hmm.
training staff could be marketed in a shared tools section on Vet Software Hub, where it becomes more like a community exchange than a marketplace.
Yeah. Yeah. And currently, like for you, like what strategy have worked best for attracting clinics and practice managers for to Vet Software Hub?
Yeah, the strategy for attracting uh, those clients is just talking about it, right? Like, I think the thing that a lot of tech companies miss is that people don't want to talk to products. They don't
Yeah.
want to talk to a company, right? They want to
Yeah.
talk to a person
Real
behind the
person
company.
behind the vision. Yeah.
That's right. So, I think that my personal Twitter and LinkedIn, and where I'm telling the story and engaging with people on Reddit and wherever I can find them is going to be the best way to grow the company. I look at a ton of vet software company web pages every day. And I never see like the founder photo or the
Yeah.
team photo, or you just see like posts on the company social media page, but you don't understand the people behind the
Yeah.
company.
The personal connection is
So
missing.
that's right. So that's what I'm trying to do different. I take every meeting request that I get. People, DM me on LinkedIn. I meet with everybody
Yeah.
and talk about it. And
Yeah.
I stop and visit veterinary practices locally, and I hand them information about the site and give them my card if you have any questions.
Hmm.
I jump on sales demo calls with practices and help them, ask questions if they're a little nervous talking to,
Yeah.
to salespeople.
Yeah.
And it's going to be a slow grind,
Hmm.
one person at a time if I have to. But I'm here for the long haul. So I'm just 6 weeks in. So I have time.
Yeah. And based on your conversation with veterinary practices, like what are the biggest technology trends that you think that's shaping the future of veterinary care?
Yeah, so certainly AI, right? Like it's shaping the future of everything, and I think it's impacting veterinary practices in three ways. One, on the diagnostics side, right? So AI radiology and imaging is becoming a real big thing. I think AI patient data from wearables and continuous monitoring, I think, is just like starting to get onto people's radar and is going to be a game changer. I think there's the other kind of pillar of AI I'm seeing in practices is operational
Hmm.
AI. So from AI scribing and AI record management to
Wow.
other AI workflows inside of the practice. And then on the client communication side, AI messaging with customers, I think that I had an interesting conversation with somebody the other day about AI receptionists.
Yeah.
And,
Yeah.
they said to me, well, veterinary practices are going to want to keep connected with their clients. They're not going to want to have an AI agent. And I said, well, if you look at what happened with millennials and texting, right? Millennials don't want to use the phone. They want to text. They're more comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I think that in the future, people are going to be more comfortable talking to an
Chatting with
AI
them.
agent than a receptionist because AI never has a bad day. They're never grumpy,
Yeah.
right? They're never curt or short with you. They'll be able to sense your mood and be empathetic. So I have a feeling that like my preference would be to talk to an AI than that front desk receptionist who just got yelled at by a client
Yeah.
and is like, "What do you want?" on the phone.
Yeah.
So yeah, it'll be interesting to follow that trend and see how it plays out. But yeah, AI chatbots on websites. Not a lot of veterinary practices are taking advantage of that right now, but it's a great technology. And they should be because a lot of people are engaging digitally after hours. Your practice closes 6 o'clock and I need assistance or I have a question at 9 o'clock at night. A chatbot on a website is a great way to engage with those customers.
Definitely, definitely. And the last question from my end, Adam, to wrap up, like many of our listeners, they are eager to hear wisdom from experienced founders like yours, right? So, like, what's one piece of advice you would give to vet industry entrepreneurs, like who are trying to solve big problems and build meaningful companies, like just as you have?
Yeah, don't quit,
Okay.
right? That's the biggest advice, right?
Yeah.
If
Yeah.
you know it, entrepreneurs starting businesses, you have a big idea, you have a big dream, don't give up. You'll lose 100 times more than you win. And then, I'm on a marketing podcast. So I'll say this one too that I tell everybody is, if you build it, they will come is a lie, right? You have to build it and scream from the rooftops and, do it yourself, do it, engage a marketing agency, have your friends do it.
Yeah.
But, you can't talk about your product enough. It's not possible. So marketing, 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 marketing.
Hmm.
Any way you have to do it.
Yeah. Or get on podcast.
That's right. Get on
Yeah.
podcasts. Go see your customers where they are. Do whatever you have to do. But like, if you think you're annoying people posting on social media, you're not. They probably aren't even seeing your posts. So keep posting 10 times more.
Yeah, yeah, love it, love it. And guys, that wraps us another insightful episode of the Pet Brand Podcast. Adam, thank you so much for taking your time and being on the podcast.
Varnit, it was great talking to you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
Definitely. And to our audience, thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to the Pet Brand Podcast as so you never miss another episode. And if you enjoy this today's conversation, please just leave a review and share it with your fellow pet industry entrepreneurs. Until next time, keep innovating, keep building, and making a difference in the pet world.